The Cold War was a period of geopolitical tension between the United States and the Soviet Union and their respective allies. This war was fought not on traditional battlefields, but through a tense standoff of ideologies, espionage, and proxy conflicts. From the end of World War II until the early 1990s, the world watched with bated breath as these two superpowers engaged in a high-stakes chess match for global dominance. At the heart of this conflict was the constant and looming threat of a nuclear confrontation, casting a long shadow over the world. A key element of this era was the massive military build-up on both sides, particularly in Europe, which became the central front of the Cold War. The Soviet Union, having emerged from World War II as a major military power, maintained a massive army in Eastern Europe, while the United States led the NATO alliance, countering the Soviet presence. This division of Europe, with the symbolic Iron Curtain separating East from West, became the defining characteristic of the Cold War. Within this context, the question of which army was the strongest in Europe during the Cold War is complex and multifaceted. While the Soviet army undoubtedly possessed raw numerical superiority in terms of manpower and conventional weaponry, a true assessment of military strength requires a deeper dive into factors beyond mere numbers. The Soviet army, often referred to as the Red Army, was a force to be reckoned with, boasting sheer size and vast quantities of military hardware. At its peak during the Cold War, the Soviet army dwarfed its NATO counterparts in terms of active personnel. Estimates place their troop strength between 3 to 5 million soldiers, a number made possible by the Soviet Union's policy of mandatory military service. This numerical advantage extended far beyond just manpower. The Soviet Union's military doctrine emphasized overwhelming force, leading them to amass a staggering arsenal of conventional weapons. Their vast tank armies, spearheaded by iconic models like the T-54, T-62, and later the T-72, were a constant source of concern for NATO strategists. Complementing their armored divisions was a formidable collection of artillery pieces, ranging from self-propelled guns to rocket artillery, capable of unleashing devastating barrages on enemy positions. The Soviet Air Force, while often technologically inferior to its NATO counterparts, maintained numerical superiority with its fleet of MiG and Sukhoi fighters and bombers. No discussion of Soviet military might during the Cold War would be complete without acknowledging the imposing presence of their nuclear arsenal. While not solely a land force component, the Soviet Union's development and stockpiling of nuclear weapons played a crucial role in shaping the strategic landscape of the era. The Soviet Union's successful detonation of an atomic bomb in 1949, breaking the United States' nuclear monopoly, marked a turning point in the Cold War. This achievement ushered in an era of nuclear deterrence where both superpowers recognized the terrifying potential for mutually assured destruction. The Soviet Union's nuclear arsenal, comprising intercontinental ballistic missiles, submarine-launched ballistic missiles, and tactical nuclear weapons, served as a constant reminder of the stakes involved in any potential conflict with the West. This nuclear capability, while primarily a deterrent, undoubtedly contributed to the perception of the Soviet army as a force to be reckoned with. Section 4, Fortress Eurasia, Geographical Advantages of the Soviet Bear. Beyond sheer numbers and technological prowess, the Soviet Union held a distinct geographical advantage in the European theater. Spanning 11 time zones and encompassing a vast expanse of landmass, the Soviet Union possessed strategic depth that NATO simply could not match. This geographical reality had profound implications for any potential conflict. The vast distances and often unforgiving terrain of the Soviet Union presented a daunting challenge for any invading force. The historical precedent of Napoleon's failed invasion of Russia in 1812 and Hitler's disastrous